And there were times, guys, he's on your team and you're trying to coach him, but at the same time, there are things that happen that kind of, you are a fan of baseball. And, it was like, there were a lot of wow moments. The 40-40 walk-off grand slam, and then the 50-50 day in Miami. It's just kind of, he had a real knack for, those moments being there and to capitalize on it and make it.
One of those guys that leaps off the screen on TV stuff-wise, and that doesn't always happen even when a guy does have great stuff. That fastball split combination it looks like it has a chance to be really special.
When we knew we were getting him game 7 too, kind of on short rest, and I don't know how he does what he does, for one.
100%.
And I know that I've watched him, and you see him kind of go through his process of getting ready to pitch and then getting ready to hit, and then he's on base a lot, then he's running, and he's unbelievable first to third stealing bases. So
投打二刀流という前代未聞の挑戦を続ける大谷選手。エンゼルス時代からドジャース移籍後の現在まで、彼と間近で対峙してきた指揮官たちは、その規格外の活躍を一体どのように見てきたのでしょうか。今回お届けする動画は、前回ご好評いただいた監督シリーズの第2弾です。第1弾の動画も概要欄にリンクを貼っておりますので、ぜひご覧ください。そして今回ご紹介するのは、ヤンキース監督のアーロン・ブーン氏、ブルージェイズ監督のジョン・シュナイダー氏、フィリーズのロブ・トムソン元監督とドン・マッティングリー監督、そしてドジャースの元一塁ベースコーチで現マーリンズ監督のクレイトン・マッカロー氏という、大谷選手を長年見続けてきた5人の指揮官たちの証言をまとめた翻訳動画です。2018年のメジャー挑戦初期から2024年、2025年のワールドシリーズでの激突、そして現在に至るまで、彼らの言葉から見えてくる規格外の男の素顔とは。それでは早速、日本語字幕でご覧ください。まずはヤンキースのアーロン・ブーン監督です。大谷選手がエンゼルスでルーキーだった2018年からドジャース移籍後の現在まで、長年にわたって彼を見続けてきた指揮官の一人です。まだ大谷選手がルーキーだった2018年の会見から2026年の動画までをぜひご覧ください。
One of those guys that leaps off the screen on TV stuff-wise, and that doesn't always happen even when a guy does have great stuff. That fastball split combination it looks like it has a chance to be really special. And obviously I've seen the power. I've actually been watching some of the games live, when he hit his first couple of home runs where you're like, to be able to hit the ball on the opposite side of center field and go over the rocks there in Anaheim, that's pretty elite power. So looks like the Angels have a guy that has a chance to be a really good player on both sides of the ball, as a pitcher and a hitter.
Aaron, from all the years you've been around, why is it that what Ohtani is doing that more players can't do? Is it just, even no matter how talented you are, you can't find the time to prepare to do both? Or is there something else you see in him that no one else has?
Well, I think the why factor is, I think to get to this level as a position player, it takes a really special talent and skill set and, commitment and practice. And the same can be said for a pitcher, and all that goes into that, and to getting to this, not only getting to this level, but, succeeding at a high level here. That's, the smallest of percentages, so, but I think when you look at him overall as an athlete, it's just really dynamic. I mean, the bat speed, the torque, the, kinetic chain that he has in the batter's box and what he's able to create, and then to go do it on the mound. We haven't seen it because obviously it's incredibly difficult, the borderline impossible. So that's why, I think the baseball world is talking about him as much as they are.
And Aaron, obviously you've addressed this before, but just as a baseball fan, what Shohei Ohtani continues to do, how does it impress you?
Yeah, I mean, it's, all the things, we're hearing, and the once in a lifetime and once in a generation type talent. I don't think that's hyperbole at all. You know, I mean, it's impressive. It's been even more impressive to witness now up close, obviously playing against them. And, you know, hopefully, you know, he's coming up in situations where we have a sizable lead and nobody on base and things like that. And obviously he's having a great year on the mound as well. And we get to see that and have that challenge facing us tonight.
And Joe Madden announced that Shohei Ohtani is actually not going to pitch tomorrow because they're guarding him after a hit by pitch. Is there a relief because of who he is, or a little bit of disappointment because of what he's accomplishing this season?
I don't know if I necessarily look at it like either of those. You know, he's obviously in the middle of a great season on both sides, you know, both as an offensive player and as a pitcher. You know, so you know when a guy like him takes the mound, he's capable of great things, but then it's careful what you wish for. You know, this is a hard game. And whoever, you know, we're facing over the next 2 days and today in a bullpen game, we've got to be ready and we've got to go out and perform and execute if we're going to have a chance to win. So hopefully this is something that, you know, for Shohei's sake and for the Angels, that isn't something that he's out too long, and hopefully get back to the mound at some point this season. But I try not to, you know, react to it because this game will come around on you.
In your time as a player, did you ever think that in this baseball world that we would have a Shohei Ohtani for this generation, like a Babe Ruth, because the pitching and hitting dynamic of him?
No, not at the level he's doing it at. It is remarkable, and something it's still now that we've seen it here these last couple of years, it's still hard to wrap your brain around.
On Saturday, Ohtani walked off the field in obvious pain, and the Dodgers said he had a partially dislocated shoulder. What was your reaction when you saw or heard that just 2 days later he'd be right back in the lineup?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, all hoping he was okay. You know, you see him walking off holding it like that. You know, obviously that's a concern, but hopefully he is okay. And, you know, we want to all be out here competing with and against the best, and obviously Shohei embodies that. So hopefully everything's okay, and you know, get to go compete against them.
So I got to get to the Ohtani rule. Do you think more? First of all, your opinion of it. Second of all, where do you think the majority of managers not named Dave Roberts stand on the Ohtani rule?
Yeah, I think it's okay. Look. He's, you know, he's a unique player, obviously, and I think I haven't sunk my teeth into it that much, honestly. Like I saw Craig's comments, but I think I'm okay with it. I think it's, you know, ultimately probably been a good thing for our game.
長年にわたり大谷選手を見続けてきたブーン監督だからこそ、これほど率直な評価ができるのかもしれません。続いては2025年のワールドシリーズで大谷選手率いるドジャースと激突したブルージェイズのジョン・シュナイダー監督の証言です。2025年ワールドシリーズ開幕を前にした会見。実は2年前、大谷選手の FA 交渉においてブルージェイズも候補球団の一つだったことに触れています。
And looking across the field at Ohtani, how close do you think 2 years ago you guys were in your mind to possibly having him in a white uniform tomorrow?
You never know. You know, I think when we met with him, you felt good about it. You know, and you felt good about the feedback he was giving about our organization and opportunity here. But you never really know what a player's feeling in free agency, and there's a lot of things that have to line up for them personally too. So you can't really think about what if. You know, you think about the 26 that we have. He's a great player. I'll say it again. I hope he brought his hat, the Blue Jay hat that he took from us in our meeting. I hope he brought it back finally. But and the jacket for decoy. You know, it's like, give us our stuff back already. But he's a great player. You know what I mean? But that aside, I think that we have a great team and just an unbelievable cast of characters and players. And I think things worked out the way they're meant to work out.
John, we asked you about pitching to Judge and the DS than Cal Raleigh last series. How different is Shohei from them, and how do your lefty relievers kind of mesh in the puzzle of Shohei?
Yeah, I think they'll all kind of be part of the puzzle. Elite talent, obviously. I think you have to be very mindful of when the top of the order is coming around, right? We've talked at length about how to treat it. We've talked at length about when to do this. And you got to read the situation. You know what I mean? I mean, they have a great team. They have 3 Hall of Famers at the top of their lineup. So you got to pick your poison a little bit, but you also have to understand that I think you look at Game 4 of the NLCS, I think we're talking about a totally different kind of animal here that can do things on the field that not many people can do, with all the respect in the world for Aaron Judge and Cal Raleigh. So we'll be mindful. I do know that, and we'll try to give him as many different looks as we can.
Ohtani got on base 9 times that day.
I got to ask a question.
Yeah.
Was that, I know you don't want to put anybody on base.
Right, especially with your lineup.
With our lineup. But was there any thought to he's pitching the next day and just kind of tax him? And
I was hoping he was going to steal everything.
Right.
Yeah, a little bit. It was just like, okay, I'm gonna get him out on the bases, and there's a little bit of that too.
Because, you know, truth be told, he likes being on base, obviously, but then he's very conservative, understandably so. And then you're looking at the game next day that he's pitching, and he was on IVs or whatever it was. He was exhausted, cramping up. And then you look back, the dude is on base 9 times, and he was exhausted, which bled into the next day, I'm sure, right?
Yeah. I mean, it kind of, when we knew we were getting him Game 7 too, kind of on short rest, and I don't know how he does what he does, for one.
100%.
And I know that I've watched him, and you see him kind of go through his process of getting ready to pitch and then getting ready to hit, and then he's on base a lot, then he's running. He's unbelievable first to third stealing bases. So part of it was, yeah, man, I just don't want to see you swing right now. And okay, maybe we can get you tired for tomorrow.
It worked.
Yeah, it's the first time I've said it publicly.
Yeah. No, because that's, and the thing is, and we were talking about that, and it was like, this brilliant. Because, you know, even I asked him after that 18 game, I go, hey man, are you good to go tomorrow? And he's like, I'm pitching. But he did his IVs and left, but it just wasn't sharp, you know, and because he was exhausted.
IVs. Is that a normal thing for him for that time
Will
of year?
Smith did it that night. Okay. We had a handful of guys, and then I asked Will Smith the same thing. I go, hey dude, 18 innings, you know, we got Wart Vet, can you catch Game 4? And he's like, I'm catching Game 4. And I go, all right.
So Shohei starts that next game. John, I want to read something that you said that night. It's easy to write that it's Ohtani versus Guerrero. To us, it's Toronto versus Los Angeles. And you're right.
I meant the Dodgers.
Right. No.
The city or the country.
No. Your general sentiment is right. As manager, that is how you have to approach this. But for all the rest of us, Ohtani versus Guerrero,
of course,
is the best.
Yeah.
And Vlad took him deep that night too. When you guys see matchups like that, are you able to take yourselves out of your role for even like a slightest little moment and say, damn, this is awesome getting to see 2 men who can do this on a baseball field going into battle one-on-one against each other?
Yeah, I can. You know, there's certain times, whether it's, you know, Aaron Judge in this building or Shohei or, you know, Freddie, you know, a lot of guys. The fan comes out of you for probably, you know, 5 seconds or so, and then you get back into managing mode. I tried to do that for the whole World Series. First time being there, take at least a minute or 2 a day to be a fan and appreciate the stuff, and then get back to managing. But when you get those matchups and it's game on the line, and it's going to be a bad outcome for somebody, you know, and I'm glad I'm not doing it, but I enjoy it. It's tense, but I enjoy it, yeah.
Well, I clearly don't, because the next time I walked Guerrero, because I didn't want to see that matchup, so I got burned by Bichette. So I don't know. I guess, when I was sitting at home watching Trout versus Ohtani for the WBC a few years ago, I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Because I'm on my couch.
Yeah.
But
there's definitely something to that.
I don't need to see, I wasn't happy to see Guerrero Yamamoto either. So, but no, all kidding aside, I do take moments to go, man, this is cool. But when the game's online, it's like, God, I would love 8 other guys outside of Guerrero or Judge at bat right now.
Definitely. I would have walked him too if I were you. I would have walked him too, for sure.
I think when we look back on this game, we take for granted that both starting pitchers are first ballot inner circle Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
Like Shohei Ohtani versus Max Scherzer. And I understand Max is in his 40s now. I don't care. Mm-hmm. He's still Max Scherzer. He's always going to be Max Scherzer. He is going to stare you down with the both of you have seen the crazy eyes of Max Scherzer.
Mm-hmm.
Like
you don't touch him in between and during an outing. Yeah,
I learned that.
I've learned that lesson too. I learned it during a game.
Ohtani though is just he's the most incredible player any of us have ever seen, and I think probably will ever see. John, what is it like trying to game plan for Shohei Ohtani?
Hard, right? Because his stuff can almost make him 2 separate pitchers. He can go force him at the top split. He can go sideways with a sweep. It's hard. He controls the running game. It's just really difficult to try to narrow in on something. So we tried to the best we could, you match up guys' swings versus what you think you have a better shot at. Are you a guy that can get on top of the 4 and maybe lay off something down low? Also throws in the curveball too, which is, do you sit on that? You know what I mean? 0-0 or something. You got to take some chances. You got to sell out. I think when Vlad has clipped them, it's been on breaking balls that are up. And, it's a really unique look because he's so long. He gets so much extension too on the heater. So he's tough, man.
Dave, what is it like to manage Shohei Ohtani?
It's actually, the hard part is, it's easy. It's easy. The hard part is the media in the sense that everything, I got to make sure that what I say is clear and doesn't get misconstrued because, you're talking about media here in the States and then media in Japan and certainly could get overblown. And I think our jobs, a lot of times, you don't want things to get lost in translation with your players because it travels fast and they're in tune with everything. Shohei reads everything. That's one part I really got to be mindful of. As far as the player, very hands-off. He's very disciplined in his routine. It's interesting that when he's a hitter, he's a little bit more jovial and like open.
You can see that.
You can see that, right?
Yeah.
And then when he's pitching, there's like an alter ego. And that's really interesting. But to be honest with you, I don't really manage him. I kind of just stay out of the way and let him do his thing. And there's a lot of players that feel, like I always say, that players need to be told they're pretty. Shohei's not one of them. He just does his own thing. He's not looking side-eyeing to see if I see what he's doing. He just does his thing, which is amazing. I do marvel at what he does. It's pretty special, obviously.
I remember we obviously met with him, right? The big meeting with Shohei a couple of years ago before he signs with LA. And the one thing that stood out to that meeting to me was we were talking about, we knew he was coming off Tommy John, and we were talking about pitching and what it would be like if he pitched for us. So we asked him if he had any questions about that. And I was there set to like kind of give the rundown on like what we thought we could do with him. And he just said, through translation about pitching is, no, I'm good. I was like, okay. Next thing.
He is like that. No, he is like that.
Like he knows what he's doing.
He knows what he's doing. And I will say the other part that is hard is like when we were building him up, I do believe things happen for a reason with my faith, but it's like with Shohei, you don't want to get him hurt. And so there are things of like when he's pitching, it's like, do I push him or it's got to make sense because if it doesn't and it goes awry, I don't want that on my record, and obviously there's a lot of things that you just can't control. But with a player like that, just really trying to be mindful of the workload and the pitches and all that kind of stuff.
That's got to be wild, just in terms of how we can track stuff these days and with his bullpens, his catch play, his swings, like that's got to be wild for you to stay on top of. It's I mean, just with regular players, I don't want to say regular, one-way players, it's hard to do.
Right.
I can't imagine with that.
Yeah.
指揮官という異なる立場から見た大谷選手の素顔がよくわかる対談でしたね。続いては2025年のポストシーズンでドジャースと対戦したフィリーズのロブ・トムソン元監督の証言です。2023年、まだエンゼルス時代の大谷選手との対戦を前にした会見からぜひご覧ください。
What exactly have you seen from Ohtani that makes him such a dangerous hitter?
Good power. No, yeah, I mean, he can hit the ball at any part of any ballpark. So, yeah, he's a heck of a player, obviously.
Unfortunately, you're not going to see him pitch.
No, we're fortunate.
I was going to say, which way are you taking that?
Yeah, no, we're fortunate. We don't want to ever see anybody get hurt, obviously, but he's so dominant on the mound that I'd rather face somebody else.
What went into the decision to bring Robertson back out after getting the one out to finish the sixth, I believe it was?
Well, I wanted to make sure we had a lefty on Ohtani. So if you bring another righty in, he's got to face Ohtani. So that's really what it came down to. Robbie didn't throw that many pitches. I mean, he was good to go.
Bob, what did you think about the at-bats from your top three guys in the lineup? It seemed like Ohtani handled them pretty well.
Yeah, he really pitched them well. A lot of off-speed pitches, dotted his fastball. Ohtani was good tonight. He really was. So tip your cap and move on.
大谷選手と対戦しないことは幸運だ。素直なトムソン監督のリアクションでしたね。続いてはそのトムソン監督から引き継いだドン・マッティングリー現フィリーズ監督の証言です。マッティングリー氏はヤンキースの主力打者として活躍した後、ドジャース、マーリンズで監督を歴任した名将です。当時マーリンズの監督だったマッティングリー氏が投手としての大谷選手と初めて対戦した試合後の会見からご覧ください。
Skipper, the first two innings, you had a couple of shots at Ohtani. Did you feel like you may have let him off the hook there? I know you did get a run. You start off second and third. You got a couple of guys on in the second also.
Yeah, I mean, not really. I think when you get a chance early there to get a run, we get one in the first, you feel pretty good about it. But with a guy like that, you don't ever, as the game goes, it's going to get better and better. And it's really kind of what we were able to see today. So, we just got to hang in there, keep the game close, really, in a sense, and then have a chance to win late.
Just with Ohtani, you mentioned it, obviously on the mound, and then has the go-ahead hit. Just, we talked so much about him pregame, and then yesterday too. Just your thoughts on what he was able to do.
Yeah, it's the first time I've seen him pitch live, and obviously impressive. A lot like, you feel a lot like Sandy in a sense that he's got a variety of pitches. He can dial it up when he wants to and hit higher velos. He's got the split that goes down. He can throw the fast. Looks like he locates the fastball good. A couple of different breaking balls, and it never seems to really get rattled. He just seems to be calmly going about, making pitches. So, pretty impressive tonight. Seeing him for the first time.
Curveball. That curveball is pretty impressive.
So I say it's a number of breaking balls. He's got the slider and the split that goes down. It's kind of like he can elevate with the fastball. He can get it both sides of the plate when he wants to add velo. The slider, he could make it a couple of different shapes, and then the curveball is kind of like that put-away pitch where you're trying to hang with the slider, trying to hang with the fastball, so you get that thing popping out, and it's just he's a handful, right? As a hitter, I mean, you go in to face him, you're gonna have to deal with a lot, and so he's a lot to handle.
We're probably witnessing some more history this year, right? With a certain player, Shohei Ohtani. He's already on that 40-40 thing, but we're talking about maybe 50-50 possibilities. Just in your opinion, as a guy that has won batting titles, done everything at the highest level possible, seeing a guy be able to do that like that, what is your opinion on that?
Yeah, Shohei's like another level. It really is. I mean, just watching him play, and for as big as he is and how much power he has, to have that kind of speed, it's really amazing watching him play. He's fun to watch, and we haven't even talked about the pitching side of it, which is another aspect to him. But to do what he's doing is incredible. It's fun to watch. It's not necessarily fun to compete against because you got to deal with it. But he's a truly generational player.
対戦相手として見てきたマッティングリー氏の言葉でした。続いては視点を変えて、ドジャースの一塁ベースコーチとしてチームメイトの立場から大谷選手を間近で見守ってきたクレイトン・マッカロー氏の証言です。マッカロー氏は2021年からドジャースの一塁ベースコーチを務め、大谷選手とは出塁のたびに交わすヘッドバンプでもおなじみのコンビでした。2024年オフにはマイアミ・マーリンズの監督に就任しています。ドジャースの一塁ベースコーチ時代を振り返るインタビューからご覧ください。
And talk about Ohtani a little bit. Everybody gives you a lot of credit and are worried a little bit. I don't think he'll be running this much this year with pitching, but talk about your input to his running game as a first base coach for the Dodgers and what you might have culled from that you may bring with you.
I think it was, got the sense during spring training that Shohei, this past season, only really focusing as an offensive player, more of an interest and a willingness to want to, push the limits some on the base stealing, and just try to build a rapport with him. And came to find out, Buck, this guy is just a baseball rat. He enjoyed watching video. I think I would just try to, do my best to come, unearth some things for him, bring him to light. And then it was what I hope felt like a partnership as that season progressed. And he put in a lot of legwork. And I'll say this guy helped me become a far better coach than I know I helped Shohei become a better player. And it was I enjoyed the time just, watching video, listening to his perspective as a pitcher and the kind of the unique side of that, looking at how guys' bodies moved and maybe certain, ticks and tells to alert you to a, type of delivery or pickoff move. So he was a really fun partner last season, and he deserves all the credit for the year he had.
Did you get an Ohtani autograph? And if you did he inscribe it with your favorite Ohtani moment? And if not, what is your favorite Ohtani moment as a coach that got to watch him for a year?
I was, certainly fortunate to be around Shohei last year and tried to not, and with other guys, not ask for a whole lot, but there was a really cool picture that someone had drawn of he and I kind of doing that head bump at first base. And this was like after the regular season, and I asked him, would he mind signing that for me? And he was gracious enough to do that. So that's something that I'll keep. It's a cool picture. But yeah, got a chance to witness the historic season. And, there were times, guys, he's on your team and you're trying to coach him, but at the same time, there are things that happen that kind of, you are a fan of baseball. And, it was like, there were a lot of wow moments. Probably, the 40-40 walk-off grand slam, and then the 50-50 day in Miami. It's just kind of, he had a real knack for, those moments being there and to capitalize on it and make it memorable.
Can you tell us how it feels to be managing for such a great team?
It feels great. Very lucky to be able to do this and have a great group of coaches. And our players come out every day and they work really hard and compete very well. So I feel a great responsibility to come in every day ready to do my best and just try to get better.
What's the best tip you ever gave to someone?
The best tip? The best tip I ever gave someone.
And who was it?
I probably would say the best tip I ever gave someone was on a pitcher. Like I noticed something on a pitcher that I think they could go steal a base. And then in the game they saw it and they went and did it. And I think we both were like, this was a really cool moment to share together. And it was Shohei.
Now that you say that, I remember that either last year or a few years ago, you used to be the first base coach for Ohtani. Can you tell us how that felt?
You know what? It was a lot of fun to watch someone as incredibly talented as Shohei do things mostly every day that would leave you speechless. But Shohei worked very hard. He loved to try to get better, and I'm definitely lucky to shared a season and watch him do something historic.
To all the kids out there who see you as their hero, what would your advice to them be?
Ask questions be open-minded, and things are never as bad as they seem. You just try to get better, a little bit better every single day.
さて、いかがでしたか？今回の動画では大谷翔平選手と直接対峙してきた5人の指揮官たちの証言をご紹介してきました。エンゼルス時代の衝撃的なメジャーデビューからドジャース移籍後の2度のワールドシリーズ制覇まで、大谷選手を見つめてきた指揮官たちの言葉には、単なる称賛だけでなく対戦したくないという敵将ならではの本音や、元チームメイトだからこそ分かる人柄までさまざまな角度からの証言が詰まっていました。特に2025年ワールドシリーズをめぐるシュナイダー監督とロバーツ監督の対談では、勝負の舞台裏にあった駆け引きや本音が明かされていたのが印象的でしたね。またドジャースの一塁ベースコーチとして大谷選手を間近で支えたマッカロー氏がマーリンズの指揮官へとキャリアを進めていく中でも、彼と過ごした日々が今なお大切な財産として語られていたのも心温まるエピソードでした。皆さんはどの指揮官の証言が一番印象に残りましたか？ぜひコメント欄で教えてください。最後までご視聴いただきありがとうございました。それではまた次の動画でお会いしましょう。